Guys,
go
minions,
there.
and
I
welcome
wasn't
to
gonna go
unMade
there.
Gaming.
Damn it.
Wow. We are here for another episode of Paradise City, where I try to keep my composure and my cast ruins me. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
we missed last week due to internet issues. Apparently my internet couldn't handle all the people on the internet, which is weird. That's your whole job. So we're here. We're ready to go. If you guys like what we do here on the channel, like the shows we do, want to support us, keep this hype train going, apparently. But you can check out our Patreon. You can subscribe down below, and you can join the conversation over on our Discord, talk about this game and all the other games we're running. And the last thing I will say before I turn it over to myself for intros, because that's how it works, is the bottom right-hand corner is the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One, when that bar fills, I, the GM, get to do whatever the hell I want. And two, every single dollar that goes into that goes back to these wonderful players that you see here before you. Also, despite being a still framed image, Kitty is here, so don't fear. We will have that amazing voice of Molly McGee just lilting through this story today.
Where?
What?
Huh?
What?
Where is she? I don't see her.
That's fine. She's a mystery.
It's an illusion.
Yep. Building a mystery. Yeah, so previously on Paradise City, the 1062 buzzed out across the city, alerting Art, Molly, Judd, and to a break-in at the Ace of Spades Detective Agency. At the same time, Mr. Friday received a phone call alerting him to the same. All four of our intrepid investigators raced down to the scene of the break-in, each slightly concerned at the presence of the other, but all throwing caution to the wind and entering the building to investigate. After triggering a small firebomb meant to destroy evidence, the robbery was called in, and the ragtag group decided to meet at the once-around-the-block coffee shop to discuss this strange case that they all seemed to be working. So, the camera is a still shot outside of the painted glass window of the once-around-the-block coffee shop. It is sped up. You see the four of you sitting there having your conversation, and then one of you gets up. It is Art. Art, you get up first to go handle police business. There's a little bit of more conversation. Mr. Friday makes a phone call, and then Judd and Molly get up and leave in Judd's car. And lastly, a black car comes to pick up Friday and take you off to places unknown. We are going to begin the game with a sweet, fun little mechanic called a montage. The montage is, it comes with a song that goes, montage! So the montage is a fun move that I am a fan of. And it allows us to kind of jump around the city, give you guys a downtime, and give you guys some actions you can do. So, who would like to go first on their montage?
So we and Sam and I could probably do yours since ours is going to be together.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that works.
So Molly and Judd are together. So let me explain a montage real quick because we've never used it before. So whenever you want some downtime, you have several actions you can take during a montage. Give attention to one of your logos, which is your everyday mundane things. You tell everyone how you do that, how you pay attention to the mundane side of your life, and you can add some attention to that. Attention will let you level up more, so to speak. You can work the case, in which case you will gain 3 clues to whatever the case you're currently working is. You can explore your mythos, which is the same as giving attention to your logos, just for the mythical side of your being. You can prepare for your next activity, which is to give yourself bonuses for whatever action you're about to take in the coming scenes, or you can recover from your last activity. So if you have been damaged, or you have burnt tags, or anything of that kind, you may do so. We'll start with Molly McGee. Molly, what action during downtime would you like to take?
So I think that we decided we were going to do, I guess, like the rest. Well, Molly is the resting, where she's going to kind of like rest up.
Okay, so
I
don't think you actually have any damage. So your recover from your last activity is the resting one. I'm not sure that you actually have any damage, and nobody has burnt a tag yet, which is useful. You could prepare for your next activity. So basically, what you do is you tell everyone how you're preparing to because I believe you're all going to the Downs was your plan at least last time we talked.
We're not. Molly and Judd aren't.
No, I'm saying in the future, your next plan is to go to the Downs. So you could prepare for that activity and you tell me how you prepare, and we make story tags that will assist
Oh yeah, no,
you in
I'm just
that
saying it was the other two characters that are going to the Downs. We're staying at Jed's apartment to go through the film. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah,
what
we were gonna restore the film.
Okay.
So I think that's what we're gonna do in our downtime was that.
So it sounds like you're gonna work the case.
Sure.
Okay, so how do you drunkenly? Perfect. How do you drunkenly work the case in Judd's secret hideout, the Judd lair, if you will?
Are we allowed to roleplay this out? Because
absolutely.
Yeah, should I set the scene here?
Yeah, Judd,
let's set the scene because I want to play it out.
So I think we described it before, where there's kind of stuff all over the place for his various investigatory work, but like to describe it kind of from Molly's perspective, because we really got it from like the Judd's perspective, the person living there. So like they get out of his crappy but reliable sedan. And they, roll up. I'm imagining it's like some sort of like second floor apartment. Like it's probably like over top of like some sort of shitty restaurant. Like I'm imagining like some sort of like shitty diner, like a 24-hour diner.
Oh yeah, it's like a Chinese
like,
restaurant for sure.
Yeah,
so it always
exactly.
has that constant smell of like peanut oil just permeating the existence.
Right, and then there's just like a couple apartments up above. And yeah, so he goes up, he unlocks like a million locks, right? And you open the door, and of course you get like the whole apartment smells like a combination of cigarette and pot smoke. So you come in, and I think like the place is messy but not dirty, if that makes sense. Like there's stuff all over the place, but it's not like he hasn't vacuumed in weeks. And he probably just kind of like rolls in, tosses his keys somewhere, like shouts over, like says over his shoulder, you want a drink? I got some shit here. I got bourbon. That's all I drink.
I mean, sure would, after the day, anything really. It's fine. Yeah, you got a glass? Sure. And Molly's going to walk in. Taking it all in. It doesn't really bother her because she kind of, she comes.
Yeah, she's used to being in various places. I picture
that there's like, because you're a news person, right, and you're working on so many things, there's that ADD brain. So there's a bunch of like half-smoked cigarettes, and then like beer bottles that are like 2/3 empty, that you just got distracted and grabbed a new one rather than find the old one that just littered this apartment.
Yeah, like little stuff like that, and for sure, like he goes over and he doesn't have two matching glasses, right? Like it's like two like totally different looking glasses that he pours like some of this bourbon into.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, he'll be like, fucking shit. Let me check. I think I.
All right. Don't worry. Don't stress yourself. You'll get what you need to get.
He definitely he pulls out one of the classic ice trays, right? And he like knocks some. He like has a couple like glass cubes left in it. So he'll like make the drink up, and then probably there's like a couch that's covered in like different random shit.
I imagine like as he's making the drinks, Molly's kind of goes over to this couch and starts like taking things off and setting them on the floor.
Exactly.
You throw anything away, Judd? God. And she's clearing everything off as she sits down.
Hey, look, those parts can be reused. Most things can be reused if you're. Look, you see my workbench over there?
My grandma said that. My grandma said that. And, we didn't visit her for like 2 years. We went back over there. And I'm telling you, you couldn't even open the door. So, it's okay. You know what? I'm not yet. It's fine. I'm not going to judge you.
I'm not a fucking hoarder, okay? Okay.
Molly like pans and eyes all of the newspapers and the clippings.
Like, okay. This investigation is ongoing. I'm just trying to figure out what. You know what? In fact, what have you been doing? What's your whole involvement in this anyway? This is dangerous stuff.
Molly like kind of chokes on her bourbon a little bit. What do you mean? You don't think I can handle something dangerous?
Well, I've just sort of figured most people wouldn't want to. I think like at this point, Judd's like walking over and he like grabs something and lights it. It's probably like some sort of spliff or something, and it's just like offers it to Molly like kind of casually as he's sipping on his drink and like they're having this conversation.
Molly's gonna take it. She was just gonna take it if you offered it or not. She
whether you
reaches
offer
over
it
and
or
takes
not. Okay.
yeah. She takes it and all right. Look, how are you gonna do this stuff? And she digs into her bra and pulls out this pile of film, right? Or maybe like, is it an envelope of film?
I forgot that's where it was, and I was like, "Where is this going?" I was like, "What do you have in there?" I think
pocket.
so. I don't know. Art, did you? So it was. Yeah, I think it's just a pile of film because it wasn't in a case, and Art just grabbed it and shoved it down your bra.
Yeah. All right.
And then blushed
before
and
you
told
worry
to leave.
about all that, why don't we get this started? And she kind of like shoves it into his lap.
Yeah. Okay. So then, like, to like pivot this over into the montage, and I know we were gonna do Molly first, but I think we get like this shot of like one of those like fast forwards where it's like the people like zipping around the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we just see like Molly, is like drinking. They're both like drinking, but Judd's like grabbing different parts.
Yeah.
Like we talked about how he has like, like a half-built clock or like, a piece of like a computer board that's like mostly taken apart. Like a bunch of that kind of stuff. He's like cobbling it together.
Yep.
And then we get this little like box of just like computer gadgetry.
Sure.
With like maybe like a little like clock gear on the side and like a little compartment. And he's gonna stick the film in and like maybe toss a quarter into like a slot and it's gonna like whir up.
Yes. Love that.
And basically he's creating like a magical projector that can like read this dead film.
Okay. So
as he's doing this, Molly is definitely gonna come over and like lean over his shoulder
and just spy
like
on whatever
she's already downed one and I'm assuming he set his straight down and she started on the second one, taking his. So what is all this? What is all this here? What did you put a quarter in that thing?
You remember how I said that I can't really explain it well? I just kind of tinker. And it just kind of works.
Okay,
it's a somewhat recent development, I'll be honest, but it's been going pretty well for me so far.
Yeah, sure. She's gonna like pat him on the shoulder. I'll just be over. I'll be over on your couch. I don't really do well with all of this kind of. You got any more bourbon?
Oh yeah.
Right.
He like goes over like he opens like a closet. There's like 3 things of he probably drinks Bullet, and there's if there's anything that Judd is going to have plenty of, it's his vices at any given time.
You open the food cupboard and that's what it is. It's just organized like cans of soup.
Yeah, exactly. Like
soup and bourbon.
Yeah.
If you asked him the things that were worth spending money on, he'd probably be like, invest.
Go back over there, do your stuff. I got this. Don't worry, I'm a big girl. I can look around your kitchen. And she shoos him away. She's gonna begin going through and just finding things so he can keep on with his montage.
Okay, so Judd, you are working the case. It sounds like.
So I can do either work the case or one of my mythos questions is what was Spade onto? So since I'm kind of doing this in a magically way, it may be more that, but I can do either.
That's
whichever you think is more appropriate.
You tell me whichever one you want to do.
Since Molly is going to work the case with this, I'll do paying attention to my mythos.
Okay. So, when you explore your mythos, you tell everyone at the table which mystery you explore and how you do it. You gain 1 clue with a method and source based on your description, and you mark attention in that mystery's theme. So, your mystery is what was Spade onto. Okay.
And the theme book is the thieving creator, right? Like he's trying to get at this information that is hidden, so he can release it to the people.
Okay, cool. So you get this burnt film to be able to process through this box, right? And like a good majority of the film is jacked up. It's either bubbled or warped or just straight up burnt. But you get what's remaining of these like slits of film to process through and project in this like warped orangey brown kind of thing on your wall. The clue you get, so you can mark attention. The clue I will say you get is you throughout this looks like surveillance film, like old school I'm taking pictures of you surveillance film. You recognize Delia because you were told to research her. And you recognize you don't recognize 3 other women that she's meeting with. What you do recognize about these 3 women is they all look similar. Not twin similar, but like relatives similar. Cousins, sisters, a lineage, a matriarchal lineage of some kind. They all seem to be young in some ways, like between like 20 to 30. In that age range, based on what you can tell from these warped pictures, but they all seem to have similar structural features to be in some kind of family. And he was then there's lots of pictures of them individually and them together, kind of all over the place. So for whatever reason, he had you looking into Delia, and he was also looking into Delia and whoever these other women that she's meeting with. This
Gotcha.
coven of ladies. That being said, that is yours. Mark attention for yourself there. You have a clue towards your mystery.
Awesome. And I'm imagining this is probably like a one-time deal, right? Like the film was like already like mangled and destroyed, like, right? Like this is him tapping into the power of his mythos to like do the impossible. So it probably like burns up afterwards or something. Yeah,
okay, cool. I like that. Like the light, the projection light that you're using is too hot and it starts to melt the film. And you get that acrid plastic burning smell. Okay, cool. Molly asked me a question behind the scenes. Molly, there are several bosses in this game, so which one are you talking about? There is, like, the main, like, mafia boss is, oh no, my brain shut off. Vidalis. Is Vidalis. Is that the one you're referring to?
About what we... with the saint from last time. I was trying to remember.
I feel like that's who was there.
I think that's who it was. It was with some of his goons.
Yeah. That's the only one we've been face to face with so far, I think.
Because the only other one would be the one at the club. And I don't think
Mr.
he's
Gold.
the one that would have. Yeah, Mr. Gold wouldn't have been the one to send goons to.
Anatoly Vidalis is understood to be like the Don, right? He's like Don Corneo of this area, so to speak.
Don Vidalis.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, let's see here. So I think it sounds like then if that's how you're gonna work this, you're working. Let me put this in here so I get the right verbiage. So you are giving attention to one of your logos. So your logos are your club work. And things of that nature. So tell everyone at the table, and you'll be able to mark attention on which logos you're focusing on. So which logos are you focusing on? What is the identity attached to that logos? And then the scene is yours.
So, I think, I guess it could be one or two things. Because the way I'm setting this scene up, all right, because I want to spill a little backstory. I want Jed to find some things out about Molly. So I think if anybody's going to find this out, it'd be fun to do this in this way. So I think maybe either the Kingsmen or Left in the Dark. Am I doing that right?
Yeah, I feel like it would be the Kingsmen if I had to guess. Which I believe you have 0 attention there.
Okay, so that works.
Yep.
So as he's been working on this, Molly has been drinking because she had some things happened to her that we didn't. I'm keeping as a secret. Chat knows about it, but I'm keeping it a secret from the rest of the people because I love surprises that happened recently. Molly's drinking to try and calm her nerves because she's scared. So as he's been working on this, Molly is laid out on his couch and she's singing to herself. And honestly, I kind of want to play this back and forth if that's okay with Judd for her to spill some things. So she's just laid back, just singing. Well, I went down to St. James Infirmary. Come on, Judd, you know the song. You know the song. And I saw my baby there. Don't you know this song? It's such a...
I don't fucking sing.
Everybody sings, Judd. Come on, everybody sings.
Trust me. I mean, a shit voice. Everyone says it. I squawk. It's a squawk.
Oh, okay, sure. We're not gonna. What are you seeing on the tape there? What? Come on, fucking tell me something, Judd. I've been over here waiting.
I did look. It's pictures. Yeah. You can see. Have you ever seen this Delia lady? She's all over all these pictures, fucking everywhere.
Would Molly have seen these people before? You're muted.
Uh-oh.
Am muted. How often were you out of the clubs and into like scummy dive bars where bands would play?
Probably whenever she was with her ex.
Mm-hmm.
So she probably would have seen this person.
I would say this. If it was when you were with Polly, it would be... this person doesn't stand out to you. Okay. They look vaguely familiar, like you might have seen them in like a passing glance, but like you couldn't place the name or the face or where you saw them.
So she's going to stand up and kind of like stumble over, and she's going to get real close and examine the face. She's not very cute, is she? Oh, God, not her either. I could never really work at the club. No, I mean, she's kind of got one of those faces that everybody's just like, yeah, looks like a broad, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Do you know her?
I do not know her, but this cocksucker Spade must have known her. He's got a fucking shitload of pictures of the woman, and I don't really know why.
Well, they like ladies.
Trust me, I'm putting that one together.
Oh, it's fine. Come on. Okay, but what else? Oh goodness, this is all so crazy, Judd. I just don't know what to think. I don't know. Just gonna take another swig.
Yeah. He's gonna like reach around for like his glass, and I think like Molly probably already like drank his, but he's like gonna like find like.
She sees him looking, and she still has some. She's gonna hand him to her.
Yeah, exactly.
She's reaching in.
He'll throw it back, and he'll maybe light a cigarette or a joint or whatever the hell he can find first, and he's just gonna be like, look, Molly, I don't know what this fucker was up to, but he was always into something shady. I always tried to help him, but he was always investigating different shady shit.
Well, he was a good guy, Judd. He was a good guy. You know, he did so much for me. I'm sure he was doing so much for other people, Judd. Shady or not. You know, morals are a very gray area, Judd. Very gray.
Look, he always did his best by me, and he was a good investigator. I wouldn't have worked with him otherwise. I was glad when he left those goddamn cops. He knew they were corrupt. Fucking Art over there, you know, she's figuring it out.
Oh, it's such a sweet girl, though. I hate her to get all tied up in this stuff with her brother and me and
her brother.
What? Yeah.
What about him?
Oh, he's just a slime ball, you know. We went out for so long, and can you
went
believe
out?
this? Can you believe this? I caught him in the bathroom with another girl. Can you believe it?
You caught him in the bathroom with another girl?
She was right there on the knees at the club. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. It was terrible.
That's horrifying.
I know. And look at me. Would you cheat on me? Come on.
Who would do? Who in their fucking right mind, Molly? Who in their right mind?
I know. Have you seen these tits? They're great. It doesn't even, I don't know. And I've not seen him, and no, Odd hasn't seen him either. I'm just, oh. I mean, her brother, not the boy. He's seen him. I'm pretty sure I hasn't seen. Did shove a hand down my bra though. That was a thing.
That those.
You're not gonna see him. Don't worry. Don't even ask.
I don't even ask. Far be it from me. The brother, those rich guys.
Oh yeah. Her brother. I don't know. I've not seen him in a while now, and I don't think she has either. He used to come by the club a lot. A lot of people come by the club. People like to come see me. I know the other girls, of course.
Yeah, right. Sure. Mostly you, though. I'm sure. I'd imagine. I
and she's gonna like fluff herself up and sit up a little more straight. I got a pretty good clientele. I make a pretty good living. I don't want to do this forever. And he's saying, give me that. And she's gonna take whatever he's smoking. I don't want to do this forever, of course. I want to, maybe settle down someday. Maybe, I got dreams. I want to see stuff. I want to do things.
Dreams are important.
Yeah, I think, Sam and we were pretty good friends, and he was. I think he was going to help me out a little bit there. And all this happened. It's a shame.
Oh yeah, terrible shame. You said he was going to set you up, though. That's something.
Yeah, see, it's morals of every gray area. That's what I'm trying to say, but...
Look, I would never say that Sam was a bad guy. He was a scumbag, but he was a good-hearted fella. I'm not the type to speak ill of the dead.
Oh, of course not. Oh,
Now, you said something about... where are you trying to run off to? What all happened that's stopping you? Obviously Sam's passed, but you can still get out of here, right?
She's gonna slump kind of back down onto her knees and look at him. I don't really know if there's going to be another chance for me. If I'm being honest with you, I don't know. It's just, and she's going to lean over and she's clearly very drunk at this point. It's so hard whenever you get in that kind of life. Those people like Mr. V and all of his goons and how do you, what do you do? And I don't know.
Someone's sending goons after you? Who would do that? Who?
What? Did I say that? Goons? He's got so many men that run the whole city, right? He's the big one. He's got his hand in every pocket. Did I say that?
Of course. Of course, I know who he is, but just so that I'm sure we're on the same page, you're talking about
Mr. V.
Oh, right.
Yeah, of course.
We all know that he runs everything.
Exactly.
Slots and the gambling, the horse track. He's got his finger in every pie.
But what do you? So I don't know. I've just been wondering, and I've been so worried, and I've just, oh gosh, I just keep thinking, oh Sammy, what did you get into with this man? I don't know.
Well, I'm sure he must have been looking into something with. He's he kind of makes that face, is like, I'm gonna take a shot right now. He's like with Vidalis. Yeah, no,
Oh yeah, there was a lot of stuff there, you know. And she's gonna kind of like stop and catch herself. But I mean, he was, everybody has to deal with him because he's got his hands in every pocket.
Of course. I mean, look, even Art's brother had to deal with Vidalis. I'd imagine,
gosh. Right? Yeah. Him and his friend both.
Oh, which friend? I mean, he has so many friends. Popular guy.
Did we get the name of the guy with the red shoes? I forgot that guy's name.
I think Art recognized the.
Molly went up too. I just don't. Hermie?
Yeah,
okay.
Did it actually get said out in conversation? Yeah, it's Ermi.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's what's his? Oh God. And she's gonna stand up and she's gonna see if he has a window, right? She's gonna stand up. Oh gosh, open up the window and lean. I think his name is Hermie. Yeah, Hermie. Well, he was in a band with Art's brother. Real good, and they all. Oh God rest. The people. They dealt with Mr. V some here and there. I don't know if it's relevant.
No. Look, you never know what's gonna be relevant. You never know. We're trying to make sure that folks like you, folks like Sam, these things don't happen to more people, right? I mean, I still think you can make it out. I think you can, Molly. This fucking city, I mean, it'll trap you, but
man, I could be dead again.
Look, there are some good people out there. I may not seem like it, but I'm one of the good guys. Art? Not so sure about her, but I'm coming around. Coming around.
She's good, she was.
You ever met her dad?
He was always.
Ooh.
Would Molly have met if Molly and Art's brother had been together for a little while, enough for like.
I don't think that there's a chance in hell that you would have met their dad.
I don't think so either. I was gonna say, based on the way I perceived him and told him to Michael, I don't think he would bother unless you were pregnant or engaged.
Okay.
Yeah, and then even then it would be to pay you off.
Do I need to take care of this?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think he was always very, very vague about his father and. God, I don't. He could have just poofed into existence for all I know. I never.
I think, we as the audience see, and Kitty, you can decide whether or not Molly would pick up on this, between the flowing alcohol and whatnot. But Judd's pretty messed up at this point too. So I think it's pretty obvious that he's a little bit disappointed when you can't give him a line on Art's father and connect him with all of this. He was really thinking that he had landed the big one there. Mm-hmm. And so there's maybe this moment where he looks disappointed and realizes what he's doing and catches himself and is oh, you fucking men. I mean, they
fucking men. And Molly's gonna scramble back over and she's gonna sit down back on the couch. Fucking men, you're always getting tied up in shit, just like Sammy. And she's gonna lean forward and kind of let a few tears go. Fucking
yeah, oh yeah. There's definitely a very awkward there moment with Judd and Molly where he's not really sure what to do with this woman he's just met.
Molly's gonna turn to him. She's gonna turn to him and she's gonna have this a dead stare in her face. What about you? What do you got your hand in all this for, Mr. Reporter?
Oh, I'm not a reporter anymore. They fired me. Look, I'm no good at keeping a job. That's just my fucking way.
So what are you bored? What's your tie with all this? What's your tie with Sammy?
Look, Sam needed my help. And then he died. I can't help but feel a little bit responsible, I suppose.
God, you and me both.
Oh, yeah? You too, eh?
She's going to stop and just look at him like a knowing look. She knows what she said. I mean, we all, I assume, as friends, right? We would all. I mean, I thought of him as a friend. I think we'd all feel a little responsible for their death when your friend dies, because there's always, you'd want to be able to do more. It's not that they would. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's stumbling. She's
yeah. So I think I think maybe there's like a slight turn, right? Like Judd has been like very like jocular and like conversationally like trying to pull this out of Molly so far. And then he'll just be like, don't fuck with me. You know something. What'd you tell him? What happened with you two before he died?
You sure you want to go down this rabbit hole, Judd?
Oh, I'm 100% goddamn motherfucking positive.
You can put it in your little story and get your fucking job back, Judd? Is that why you're here?
You pointed it out first before I said a goddamn thing, Molly. This city is a fucking corrupt hellhole. It's a sinking mire of putrescence. There's nothing I would like more than to shine a light on that, because that's the only thing that will eventually help solve it. I want to help everybody who's stuck in this hellhole, not just you. But if I can help you in the meantime, I absolutely will.
She's looking at him real serious, because she does not. So Molly is the wheels are spinning. She's scared, and I think her hands are gonna kind of like shake a little bit, and she clenches her fist. But look here, okay, Judd, Mr. Reporter, I don't really want to go down with this city either. Whenever you try to break your scope or whatever you call it.
Look, you said it yourself. You think it may be too late for you. I don't think that's true. I think we can all get out of this looking clean, looking pretty. But you got to work with me here, Molly. It's the only way this all works out.
Trouble I would get in if I were to tell you that Mr. V's goons were roughing me up, asking all kinds of questions about Sammy. She's going to stop, and she's going to be like, oh, shit.
It's like, Molly, you're already in the trouble. You're already in the shit. You've taken a step through that door. Now your only choice is to keep walking forward or to end it here. I don't think that you're prepared to stop this investigation just yet. I don't think you're ready to leave me and Art and hell, even that fucker Friday, creepy as he is.
I can't. Judge, you're going to get, look, there's too many things here, Judge, okay? It's too deep, Judd. If you get into this, you don't know. You don't understand. She gets up, she's starting to gather things. If they know that I told you, if you find out that I can't, Sammy's already dead. I can't have another life on my hands, Judd. And she's going to start going towards the door.
Yeah. Oh man. What would he do? I don't think he's gonna like grab her or anything. I don't think that's really like what he would do. But I think he'll stand up and he'll probably like raise his voice a little bit and he'll just be like, "Don't be a fucking coward. We're all in this now. It's too goddamn late.
I'm just trying to live, Judd."
No, you're not. You wouldn't be here if you were. You've already made the choice. Now stick with it.
You just don't understand. There's just things that you see whenever you live this kind of life. And I just don't know what to do. There's a lot of really bad people involved in this, involved with Sammy, Judd, involved with...
Look, I understand. Trust me, I understand that there are bad people involved. Maybe... there's nobody who understands more than the people who are with you here in this. Now, I may be trash, the good of the better variety, but Art is the real deal. She wouldn't be involved in this if she was wrapped up.
Killed.
it won't. If anyone's going to make it out of this alive, it's her. Though I won't really envy her if it does go that way.
Look, I don't know how much more I can tell you, Judd. Molly's just gonna slump on the ground in front of the door, and her hand, like she's on her knees, just slumped down. Listen. Okay, sometime a little bit before Sammy, God rest his soul, some men came to the club. Okay, some big scary men came to the club, and they were asking me all kinds of questions. So I don't know exactly what Sammy was getting into, but exactly, little bits here and there. He'd get a little drunk and put his head in my lap, tell me all kinds of stories. But they said some things to me, and if they find out that I told anybody, Judd, they were gonna come out. They could be watching me right now. They could know I was here, and she's gonna start scrambling up to try and leave again.
Yeah. So he's gonna like take a step over and like maybe like put a hand on her shoulder and just be like, look, they're not here. They followed you here. It would be too late. Look, it's fine. You're safe here. I've got a lot of time and energy invested in making sure that if anybody was watching this place, if anyone tries to break into this place, I know before they can get in. So don't worry about that. I tell you what, there's lots going on tonight. If you need to stay, you can. There's a bed in the other room. I got more work to do. You can tell me what the questions they ask you later. You can tell me now, but I'm involved. I'm in this now. So get some rest, Molly, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, you're right. And she's just gonna lean back, her head against the wall, and she's gonna close her eyes. She's drunk.
Good.
I don't know that Judd is capable or interested in carrying anyone to his bed. Mm-hmm. So he'll probably just maybe like fill a glass of water and leave you there, and then like go
toss
like
a blanket on her.
Yeah, exactly. And then like go sit at his computer and continue what he's been doing. Like he's gonna basically just start looking into some of these new leads, right? Like he probably should sleep, right? Like he was already running on like 2 hours of sleep, but he's kind of accepted that the night is toast as far as that's concerned.
So the audience, the camera pans as Judd moves around his apartment, tossing the blanket on Molly, heading over to his computer. And as he kind of puts his elbows on the desk and sort of rubs his eyes, the camera cuts to black as a fade and fades in on Friday. Friday, where are you?
Friday's on the move.
Ooh.
They are always on the move unless they're going to sleep. And sometimes they don't sleep for days. So Friday's in the back of a black sedan, not one of his, but one of the ones that, one of the services that he trusts or they trust that they can call upon. So Friday's in the back, considering the situation that's going on. Now, previously we had a conversation between myself and Friday and one of their subordinates who followed Ermi who he thinks is Ermi all the way to the Downs before losing track of him. And then there was an interrupt and a call, like there was the cop car thing. So the question that came up as a part of that, which will lead into the montage, is when pressed, that subordinate mentioned that there would be trouble if we were to go into the Downs.
Correct.
And that's where Friday is going to spend their time with the montage.
Okay.
And they're going to give attention to one of their logos.
Okay. So which logos are you giving attention to, and how are you giving it that attention?
So right-hand man is one of their logos. Friday is usually the number 2 of any particular criminal organization. They don't always play for the top organization. They always play for the second one. They're always working with the second one, kind of like building that up. And then once they get to the top, they kind of move on to the next thing, always playing the field. So Friday's going to give their attention to this particular logos and going to make some inquiries about what's actually going to happen should Art and Friday enter the Downs, and what kind of repercussions they're going to have, regardless of whether they get permission or not.
Okay, cool. So you're looking on details about the Downs. Okay, yeah.
I want to know who runs the show. I want to know who we're going to piss off. I want to know how we can circumvent that. I mean, I want to find as much as possible within the framework of give attention.
I'm already on the case, but you'll find that out in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I like this. I like where this is going.
But get the information you're getting anyway. Trust me on this.
So you begin. So you're in the back of this town car, right? I assume, and it's like a fancy town car. So you hit the button, and the divider goes up between you and the driver in this kind of car, and you begin making your phone calls on whatever burner of the week you're on, right? And the montage is essentially like city lights just sort of on the side of this black car reflecting off the tinted windows. Quick camera cuts rotating in and out of the car as you're talking, hanging up, looking disgruntled, calling someone else, right? So it's a series of phone calls as you're trying to gather information while making it look like you're also not digging into something that could, bite off more than you could chew.
They would definitely be affecting a nonchalant sort of disposition as much as possible.
Yep. Okay. So mark attention in that logos, and what you learn about the Downs. I will give you and the audience a brief history of the Downs. So the Downs is an island. It's an island district floating in the river Miskatonic in New Arkham City. The only way to get to the Downs is through a tunnel under the river. There was no bridge because at the time they had already built the tunnel. This is like an expansion of the river kind of thing. Unlike a Jersey to Manhattan kind of thing, it's not a bridge and tunnel kind of thing. There are bridges that go over the Miskatonic. This is the tunnel that goes to the Downs, which is why it's kind of colloquially known as the Downs, because to get there you have to go down, down, down. So this place, it is... As much as people know that New Arkham City is corrupt and like the politicians and the police and whatever, and no one really talks about it, everyone understands that you don't go here, but no one really talks about it. You find out that this is definitely run by the Vidalis family. He is top dog here, and he is lord and commander of this place. This place is so shrouded in rumor and bad situations that even the cops kind of like turn around at the tunnel. Your guy, your man on the street, got picked up. Like he saw the tunnel and was like, "Hey," and then called you. That's how he lost this guy. Is he didn't go in. Like he didn't chase him into the tunnel. And then the cops picked him up, and they also didn't chase into the tunnel. It's not common for police officers to go here, and usually you'd find this out, and Art could probably confirm this whether they want to or not. The cops that get assigned there are either on the payroll, or they're not going to be cops for much longer because they've overstepped. So it's very much that kind of place. Crime is kind of rampant here. It's kind of unchecked here. This is where the dredges of the city sort of reside. Listless spirits of New Arkham City live here. So that's what you get here. This is a lawless, Wild West kind of place run by, an oligarch. So does that give you the information you were kind of seeking there for your logos?
For the most part, I think there's one other question Friday would probably want to figure out.
Go for it.
Who would be the middleman or the person that Friday and Art would approach to gain permission?
Interesting. Interesting. You ask this question to several people, right, on the down low. The only response you get, besides I don't know or hang-ups, is one of your old contacts, one of your old, not quite one of the families you worked for, but one of like the mid-tier bosses that you assisted with something, who like owed you a favor, tells you to expect a phone call. Doesn't give you a name, tells you to expect a phone call on this number, the one that you're using now, and then hangs up on you. A very much a you don't contact them, they will contact you kind of situation, which even for you it's a little like uncomfortable, right? Like you're not a top dog, but you like to think at least of yourself that like, hey, I can kind of get in touch with anyone, and this is a very much a you're not going to kind of situation where it's kind of unfamiliar territory for Friday, I think.
Right.
So
okay.
Cool. So you kind of have this montage of you in this car. Is this car just circling New Arkham City?
This car is basically taking a route through every neighborhood, and just Friday hires cars specifically so that people can't track him or track them. And as they're not wanting to be tracked, they always pay extra to specifically make sure that the driver knows how to pay attention, and if is being followed, at least is making Friday aware, right?
Okay.
But he never uses the same car or the same driver if he can help, or if they can help it.
Okay. Cool. I like that. So yeah, this scene kind of goes, and we have one of these cool Matrix-esque transitions where you're on the phone and the camera kind of goes to the phone and then travels through the phone lines and then boop, 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 and we're at wherever Art is. Art, where are you?
Art goes to work. She parks her car. She goes inside. Later at night, it's the normal early evening stuff. We don't quite have the drunks in the tanks yet, etc. She makes a beeline to forensics. She corners somebody she would consider close, little mousy girl, and says, "I need you to do me a favor, and you know I don't ask for favors like this often." She gives her the pic, explains to her, "I need to know if there are fingerprints on this, DNA, anything. I need this info first. I'm not going to tell you where I got it from. It's got to be that." And the girl kind of looks at her like, "What the fuck? Art never does this kind of thing."
Yeah, right.
"I need you to text me immediately. Don't call me. I might be I'm going to be out of the office for a while."
Okay.
She beelines out of there. She makes sure nobody's paying attention. She tosses her jacket on her chair. Usually when her jacket's on her chair, people assume she's either on the beat, in the office, etc. She's going to take a back way out of the police office and take a funky route home, where she's like cutting through kitchens she knows, the alleys that people don't travel through, etc., to get to a back way to her apartment, make sure she's not being followed.
Okay.
She gets home, the air kind of falls out of her for like the first moment ever. She goes into her bedroom, she goes into her big closet, and in the back of the closet there's a false wall, much like Sam's in his office, but it opens up to a smaller closet that has wigs, costumes, makeup. She sits down, she does makeup, very similar to what I'm wearing today, very much not like her. She's a little more glammed up, but not obscenely. She puts her hair in a wig net And then she puts on a wig. It's long. It's red. She looks at herself. She stops. This is where I'm going to key into her mythos. Her cat is going to be walking around her, trying to comfort her. Okay. She looks at herself. She looks like her mother. That's who she's emulating at this moment. Nobody's going to be looking for her. Nobody's going to know what that is. But the cat kind of curls up and is purring. That's her connection to nature. And she has a moment. She breaks down. Sam is probably the first person in her life that was close to being a parent, kind of walked her through being a cop, kind of took her under her wing, kind of said, "You're one of the good guys. I need you to stay here, but I got to fuck off." And then they, kept working together, etc. So she kind of takes a moment to fall apart, thinking about how her brother's messed up in this. She has a flashback to how her mother died. She's sitting in her yard playing some game she can't even remember. She hears her mom singing. Her mom walks off. All she hears is a shot. Her dad picks her up and runs away with her away from the shot, and she doesn't know why her dad's there, and she comes back to looking at herself in the mirror. She fixes herself up, downs a shot of whatever is convenient, and heads a back way out the apartment. Maybe she has a little pathway set up between apartments so she can even go out a different building. She texts, well, I don't know. Would she have Friday's number at this point? I would assume they would have exchanged ways to contact each other.
I think Friday's been handing his card out like candy to this group of people. So I know he definitely handed it to Molly.
No, he told everybody that he knows how to get in contact.
Oh, that's
with us.
right. He did. I think he did give a card to Molly, if I'm not mistaken. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Friday?
Molly's the only one.
Molly gave him a card.
Right. Yep. That's how it was. Yeah. So then you would not have Friday's contact.
She is going to head towards the entrance to the downs and be around the area. She's not going to be like right on top of it. She's going to be like in the area waiting to see him show up. So that's her next moment. And obviously he might not recognize her right away. So she's waiting to see him before she... Because in her mind, if she goes down into the downs looking like Art, she's not as notorious as some of the other detectives in there, but she's got famous family. She's got...
You got cop walk.
Cop walk.
Yeah.
And she's known for being one of the good guys, so she wanted to make sure she looked different, and she's just kind of sulking about.
Okay. Just so I know, for mechanics, are you doing your montage in the downs, or is there something you wanted to do as your montage with what you were just doing? Because it sounds like you're investigating the case or working the case, which basically gives you 3 clues to ask about what information you have so far before we proceed into the downs.
Before we proceed,
I mean, the pick could be one of the clues that you get.
It'd be nice to hear something about the pick.
Sure.
I think she would have done a search on Friday, because it's somebody she's seen before, but she's not familiar with, and she's just like double checking things.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she's gonna text her brother again.
Okay. So the pick has your fingerprints on it. It has Friday's fingerprints on it, I believe. Yes. And it has Polly's fingerprints on it. And they are in that order. As in, yours are the freshest and most recent, and then Friday's, and then Polly's seem to be several days old and smudged. The pick is well worn and well used. You would assume that it was probably put there that day before everyone arrived, but it definitely has your brother's fingerprints on it.
But hasn't been touched by anybody else that we...
Likely the last person to touch it was Polly before Friday picked it up.
Okay.
As far as looking into Friday, without an actual name to go on, you kind of have vague references to this person, what you can piece together based on what Friday has said, what you've seen, and your own cop inferences, you don't actually find Friday in the criminal database. Which
I figured.
which should be interesting, because most other, even low, mid, and some high level thugs all have, even some bosses all have some kind of record. So whether he's not as big bad as he thinks he is, whether he's way smarter than he comes off as, whether he doesn't actually do crime, you're not entirely sure. But he's not in the database, meaning that the city has no reference to him actually being charged with any kinds of crimes. So he's never been brought up on charges.
Gotcha.
So you can take that information to the bank and do whatever you want with it. As far as a text to your brother, you text him, and the camera pans and sees the same series of texts that are mostly from you. It's just back to back to back to back for days. You send this text message, and there's that bated breath where you're waiting for a response back. 60 seconds where you're like, okay, this isn't going to happen. And then you see the ...
Oh, God.
And as the ... sits there for maybe 5 seconds, a text message pops up and says, this number is no longer in service.
Fuck.
You may call the provider, blah blah blah, if this is your number. It looks like more of an official message than your brother would be able to come up with on his own. But it looks, as far as you can tell, like an official message that says this is not in service anymore.
Gotcha.
And then we cut to the Downs. Now, this is late night, early morning, and the two of you are going into the Downs. Oh boy. Okay. So a black car is driving towards the Downs.
And I forgot to mention, she's dressed. She's got like a nice buttoned up top, nice slacks. She tried to make herself look like one of his goons, basically.
One of Friday's goons?
Which she would assume you would have your goons dressed
so
like.
Interesting.
Like slightly classy, but maybe a hoodie, a nice black hoodie. She made some assumptions, but that's the look she was going for.
The best part is that you made some assumptions.
Friday always dresses like formal, right?
Right.
You've only seen him in a suit, as far as you know. I mean, it's only been one day, but you've only seen him in a suit.
Nice shoes, but she can move in them. Nice slacks, button down top, but maybe like a hood, like a nice black hoodie, tie. She kind of made some guesses.
I'm assuming there's like a strip mall or a gas station or something along the highway right before entering the tunnel to go into the Downs.
Yep.
Right. Is it a Sheetz?
It's a 720. We don't have Sheetz up here. Actually, you know what? That's perfect. We actually have a gas station called Seasons, and it's called Seasons. There's a Seasons gas station outside the Downs, and if anyone gets that reference, kudos to you. Yeah, so there is a gas station. It is a more rundown Seasons than you've seen, which is, it's like a Sheetz, right? The Seasons. But yeah, you see that it is like it's not even highway to the Downs. It's like a 2-lane road, and then a Jersey barrier and a 2-lane road. And so there's there's a pull off to this gas station on the way to the Downs.
So Friday's vehicle would pull up, and the door or the window would roll down automatically, and they'd stick their head out. What are you dressed at?
Not me. Figure I shouldn't look like myself when I go in there.
Why do you look like a hipster out of a music video, though?
Look, I made some guesses. I don't know. I don't have your contact information. I couldn't ask.
You just had to ask, detective. I would have given you a way to contact me, but I figured that you would have been here anyways.
She just face palms. Uh-huh. All right. Am I getting in? How do you want to do this?
Well, let's have a quick chat before we do this.
Okay.
And he slides over and opens the door for her. Or they slide over and open the door for her.
Gets in.
Why do you want to do this?
I gotta know if you did it. I gotta know who did it. Sam did a lot for me, both in the PD and out of the PD. And I don't owe much to a lot of people, but he's one of them.
I don't remember if it was mentioned in front of Friday whether Paulie was your brother or not. So I'm going to assume that he has that, or they have that information regardless.
It would be well known.
Yeah, it
Right,
was,
okay.
and it was said at the donut shop, but in passing. It's
Yeah,
a very glossed over fact.
And her brother and father, they're like, I don't want to say like Kardashians, but they're notorious and famous in the city.
But why your brother? Why do you think your brother did this?
I'm hoping he didn't, to be honest, but I know he has bad habits. I know he could have gotten messed up in things because of that. And, well, you know who my father is. He's always wanted to be like him.
And you're willing to risk your life on a hunch for your no-good brother.
And for Sam, the only person that actually seemed to give a shit about people around here. I know my side of things, we do what we do, but not everybody's. I know people are on the payroll. I know how some of these people that I work with work. I try not to be that. Somebody has to not be that. But I don't know. Sam did shit like this for me. Sam actually gave a shit about doing the right thing. And yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm going to do this.
Sam was no longer a cop because he couldn't bear stepping over the line. He chose to be across that line and walk in both worlds without regret.
I know.
You do this, you're going to be just like him, and there will be no going back.
She smirks a little bit. I know.
Then welcome to my world, detective. Put your seatbelt on. This is going to be a little difficult.
She buckles up, leans back, not very comfortably, but tries.
And with that, I'm going to invoke a move.
Oh,
a
boy.
fun mechanic for this game. There's a mechanic that I am to employ as often as possible against you guys. Make a hard choice. Art, when your identity demands you act or speak in a given way and you don't, mark a crack on that identity's theme. I believe one of your identities demands that you act and speak in a certain way. I'm pretty sure it is your walk the beat.
And I already got one crack in
So
it. Yep.
mark a second crack. Now, for the players and the audience, when you mark 3 attention, you get to level up this ability. When you mark 3 crack, you lose it. which means you could be removed from the beat and relegated to a desk job, or no longer be a cop at all. So, as you move closer and closer to the path that Sam walked himself, you slide the buckle into, taking Friday's tone literally, you slide the buckle into the clasp, and you buckle up because it is going to be a bumpy ride. At this moment, a phone rings in Friday's pocket, and across town, a similar ringtone plays through the speakers of Judd's computer, with just enough sound to kind of jog him from whatever stupor or half asleep he might have been in. Judd, you made a device mere hours ago to kind of watch over Art. A little.
It's in her pocket.
You get a little bing, 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 sort of alert as you see the GPS has been activated, and you see that this tracker on your computer is at the entrance to the Downs. It appears as though, as far as you can tell, Art is about to head into the Downs by herself in the middle of the night. You, as a reporter, know that you know all the rumors about this place and how bad it can be. Is there anything you do before we continue and follow this town car?
What the fuck are you doing? I would imagine that Judd and Molly definitely have Art's number.
Yeah.
So
Judd, is there anything you do?
Your call on that one. Do you just roll over and go back to sleep?
Molly definitely has the number.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Judd would let Molly make that call or if he would, because he's still a little like this about Art, especially in regards to his relationship with her.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
So I'm gonna think that it's also gonna wake Molly up.
Yeah, sure.
You live in the bad part of the town. You're like sleeper.
Yep.
You know.
Do I need to
It's
lock
not-
my door? Is it triple locked?
It's definitely not like this apartment is so big that like a loud noise is not going to cover the whole thing. So
yeah, you hear this alarm kind of go off. Molly, you're not sure what it is, but you hear it enough to wake you up.
Molly's gonna like jerk awake and she's gonna. What the fuck is that, Judd? God, she's gonna stumble up and kick like a stack of newspapers over. Like stuff is gonna like around. What is that? What's the sound?
I think Judd was like head down asleep at his computer, and like this is like oh shit, that's the scanner. Oh fuck.
Molly's tumbled over a stack like she's like legs up like what the?
And I think what I would like to do is activate my story tag Sparks, which is my little robo dragonfly friend.
Okay. So what move are you doing to activate this? What move are you using and activating this in?
I want to change the game.
Ooh, okay.
I think that's probably what I'm doing. Well, let me just double check real quick before I...
Basically, when you want to use your abilities to give yourself or an ally advantage, you can kind of change the game.
I'm probably investigating, actually, because what I want is like to get an idea of like the situation that Art and Friday are facing so that I can respond appropriately.
Okay, cool. So roll me an investigate. One of your tags can be Sparks, and then you have up to 2 more tags you can roll on there.
Cool. Okay, so I will use Sparks. That is 1. And then I will use... I'm in my safe house. I've got my apartment full of investigative gear. I'm imagining like I've got like a direct feed to like he's like taps on his computer to like pull up the camera feed that this robo thing is beaming to him.
Yeah.
And I have Father of Invention using like one of the little gadgets I created.
Okay, yeah. So check off those boxes and roll. You should be rolling at a +3.
Now I'm not quite sure how to click the box for a story. To hit the plus, right?
Yep. And you
cool.
Yep. There you go.
All right,
so you should
3.
be rolling at a +3.
All
Click that investigate.
Cool.
And let's see what we
Investigate.
got. Okay. So you rolled a 10. Great success. Okay. Cool. So on a 7 to 9, which is what you've rolled here, 10s don't really do much for investigate. You can choose. You have 3 power, which means you get that number of clues. You can investigate. I'm sorry, on a 10 plus, you just get straight up answers. So you have 3 questions to ask me, and I give you straight answers.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out how to balance this because some of this is information I already have, but Judd doesn't really have. So I guess it's like the first question is like, what's the situation on the ground? From the perspective of this kind of overhead watcher.
So right now, Sparks is in Art's pocket, but you can activate it remotely, and what you can hear is there are 2 voices. You recognize Friday's voice, and you recognize Art's voice. Therefore, you know that Art is not alone. You assume that she is with Friday, and they together are going into the Downs. Not that fills you with reassurance, but you at least know that she's not just wandering in there solo trying to be a hero cop. And they are. You can tell by like the gyroscope that they're not traveling on foot. They're in a car. The speed of which they're traveling, they are in a car.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions that would jump out at them?
Yeah, everyone's feel free to jump in here. That might help with these questions.
Can I get like a location? Like I can like
yeah,
do
you have a GPS.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I like pull up. I have their like little location like moving on the map. All right, that count as my first one, or is that number 2?
That was part of the thing you built. So
cool.
it does that.
Awesome.
So as he's doing, I think to maybe try and help with some of the questions, Molly's gonna like straighten herself up from these things she's fallen over on. She's gonna lean over and she's looking at what he's looking at. What? This is. Tell me, what is this again? What's going on?
You remember that little motherfucker?
Yeah.
The little bugger.
Your little thing, yeah.
That's where it is, and you can hear the speakers are coming out. We don't have any video because it's in Art's pocket, but
So wait, and she's gonna look at the map.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going where it looks like where they're going?
It absolutely, yes.
That's not good. They gotta know, right? It's not.
But I gotta imagine they fucking know. Art's a goddamn cop.
I don't know. She's a very innocent woman. Have you seen her? She's like an angelic, angel.
She's innocent in one way, yes.
Oh, you were serious. You were being serious.
She's an angel of a girl.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So I guess my second question will be, can I? I'm wondering if maybe we should just bank the questions.
It can only be banked for the scene, I think.
They can.
Okay.
This scene is the we're in the Downs scene, so you can use it to continue.
Well, I think I'll bank it, and what that looks like in the scene is Judd is like he maybe has like a coat like hanging like off some piece of furniture next to him. He like grabs the coat and stands up and will be like, Molly, come on, we gotta go.
What? What? She's gonna look down at herself and then up at him. Oh, okay. You got a coat I can wear?
Yeah, look in the closet. There's a couple jackets. I think.
Okay, good. And she's gonna take the one out of his hand.
Yeah, okay.
I just like that through all of this, in like the donut shop, the crime scene, investigating, Molly is in like a tight black funeral dress, but it's like it's still a cocktail dress as far as things. So when she's drunk, and she's like, "Look at my tits," and then she's like, "Give me a coat." Like the whole
Yoink.
time, everyone's far more comfortable, and
Look,
she's just in a cocktail dress.
I'm not going down there dressed in this. We're gonna have to deal with a lot more than you would think we would have to deal with, Judd.
All of Judd has in his closet, he has just like the same coat as the one that Molly took, and they're all just like different versions of like that like standard Carhartt outdoor jacket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Like maybe like slightly different shades, right? There's like the brown and the army green, and like
The slightly less brown, the
tall
khaki,
is
the
Judd?
dark khaki.
How tall is Judd? Is he a tall man?
he's probably like just above average. He's probably like 5'11", like maybe like just under 6 foot.
Okay, so I think the jacket's pretty big, so she kind of like wraps it around herself because I think she's maybe 5'5".
Yeah, he's definitely not small by any means. So, so he'll grab like another one of those jackets and then rush out and go to the sedan. And he's like, maybe like the whole time he's like, look, I mean, it's just you heard the freaking siren, and it's just a matter of goddamn time before they're in trouble.
This isn't going to be good, Judd. But fuck it, come on, let's go down to the downs. This is nuts. Terrifying at all.
Look, it's gonna be okay.
No, it's great. I mean, you got a gun, right? She's gonna look him dead serious in the face.
No, I don't. No, it'll be fine. I got something else. Trust me. I actually. You know what? It's
fine.
He's like turning the key and like it's like doing that like vroom, 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 but like not starting. He's like smacking it, and then finally it kicks and rolls over and starts the engine, and he trundles off.
So as it's going, and after she asks, "You got a gun?" Yeah, right. He says no. She like looks at him, eyes, and she reaches into her pocket and she's gonna put on because Marley knows this place is not cool, but she's gonna put on some. They almost look like rings onto her fingers, but they've got little like claw tips, as if fake metal nails coming off the tips. But they are rings that link up across one hand. Yeah. It'll be fine.
Look, I've never. Don't worry, I got it.
As you drive away, Judd, and you hear "it'll be fine," and you see the streetlights and the moon sort of reflecting, and you can see out of the corner of your eye Molly slipping these on to her fingers as if, she might have to throw some hands. You could have sworn as one streetlight kind of passes over the car and you see that glint of metal, that her entire hand looks like this sharp, elongated kind of claw. But then as you kind of like do like a side glance, they're just rings on her fingers that have little kind of claw hooks to them. Are you speeding to this scene here, or are you just casually moseying?
I think that Judd probably always drives dangerously fast.
I live life dangerously, baby.
Okay, great.
I think he just very much drives like a pissed off teenager, despite the fact that he's well into his late 20s.
Judd drives dangerously. So as you speed past these streetlights, we cut back over to the car idling in the Seasons parking lot, and the phone goes off to Friday. Friday, your phone, ding, 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 in your pocket.
Friday takes a look at their phone. His flip phone. Looks over at Art. Last chance.
What, are you going to drop me off down here? She just laughs, shakes her head, and sits
Flips
across
it as she says that and puts it to their ear.
You hear It's definitely some kind of vocoder, right? Like it's a disguised voice. What you can get through this is it's likely to be a male voice. It's definitely bassy. It's definitely like a deep, booming kind of voice. All it says is access granted in this like robot-y deep voice. And then you hear a series of like beeps. And that's it. That's all you hear. The line sort of is silent. It doesn't go dead. It just stays silent.
Pausing for just a second, Friday is kind of at a loss. Realizing the situation that they're in, immediately closes the phone, acknowledges to the driver to proceed,
Mm-hmm.
and looks over to Art and says, "We have permission. Don't do anything stupid."
I wish it were 10 o'clock. That's a great line to end on. Oh, man. What a good line to end on.
She's gonna put her hand near her gun, which, if you can see the outline of, you can tell it's not a typical gun. It's not standard issue.
That's not going to get you very far where we're going. Everyone is going to have one of those.
Not like this. She just smiles at him.
Your bravado and confidence is inspiring, Detective.
I won't use it unless we need it. Just trust me.
You won't use it unless there is no other recourse.
Yeah.
We have survived so long as a species because we actually can communicate with each other.
She stops and thinks for a moment.
Negotiations are all about leverage and information. Try to be a little bit more cautious before you show it to anybody else. And then they will just like sort of lean back and close their eyes, waiting for the tunnel, right, to end as we arrive into the downs.
So the car, peels out of the seasons into the rain-slicked streets of New Arkham City. You enter the tunnel, and there's the boom, 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 that light sequence that sort of just goes as you're in a tunnel. The sound kind of dampens, and you have that like stale noise, stale air kind of thing as you travel for what seems like far longer than you would imagine this tunnel to be, because it seems as though time seems to flow strangely in tunnels, and then you emerge out the other side. You emerge into what is like a different world compared to New Arkham City. There are dilapidated factory buildings, derelict row houses. The streets are crowded with people, but they're just sort of meandering about in this kind of lackadaisical manner. They don't look like the hustle and bustle of the city. They don't look like the casual strolling of the suburbs. Kind of, you see there's down an alleyway. You'll see like a trash fire, like a little barrel on fire. You see the two of you have a unique perspective on a place like this. It's all of the crime you would normally see in the city. It's just far more open. There's someone leaning on the corner of a building, and there's a far more open exchange of money for some kind of illicit good. You see people looking at your car as it goes by, with the blacked out windows, a far nicer car than has any reason to be in this city kind of thing. And it just feels like cloistered in this area, like you're entering a place where you shouldn't be, right? And as you kind of look around, there is a thin, pervasive kind of mist wrapping around the ankles of these people. You are in the middle of a river. It's not uncommon that mist would roll off. However, you see this kind of wrapping around and swirling, and as your car kind of zooms forward, it sort of twirls around it and forms these ribbons as if you're in a wake of an ocean. Where are the two of you going?
I think Friday would have also, as a part of the whole conversation, in trying to give attention to their logos,
Sure.
would have tried to figure out where to go. But given the fact that we're in this particular situation, I think what we'll do is a flashback.
Okay.
And we will flashback to a particular conversation where Friday was able to actually talk to somebody who was a lot more sort of comfortable in having, like they were able to be a little bit more free about what they were doing, almost like a confidant level kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Somebody who probably was on the older side, had been in the city for an incredibly long time, and had no more interest in actually paying attention to sort of the going-ons of the day-to-day of crime, and had almost maybe like retired.
Okay. Where does this take place? Where does this meeting take place? Set the scene for us.
Well, the conversation is going on. It's a phone call. Very
so it's
much
happening
like
while you're in the car.
It's happening while I'm in the car, while we're doing the sort of the sequence of giving attention to the logos. This will be one particular conversation that sort of stood out to Friday, allowing them to kind of bring that initial sort of step of, well, where do I go first, kind of a thing.
Okay. This is not quite a retired mobster as what you were looking for. There is a woman in the city. You know her as Belladonna. Belladonna has lived in the city, as far as rumors will have you know, her whole life. She's lived here. She's never been anywhere else. She knows, allegedly, she knows everything that goes on in New Arkham City. She is wealthy, but untraceable. Like, you don't know where this old money is coming from. It seems as though both sides of the fence, much like Sam, both sides of the fence don't really mess with Belladonna. Your side of the families know her, show her respect, and she's not involved. The police, the government, they also know of her, and she's not involved. Belladonna is someone you can turn to when you need answers, but not someone you can trust at all.
How informal is the relationship?
I will say this. Whether you have tried to be cheeky or cute with her, nothing has worked, ever. You've never seen her or heard of her in the company of anyone else, male or female. And so none of your charms that work on most people seem to work on her. So whether you want that to be formal or informal, that's entirely up to you. It doesn't seem to matter for her. You've tried them all, so it's whatever one you'd settle on.
I think Friday would refer to her as Belle.
Okay.
Given the fact that nothing else seems to work, and Belladonna is a mouthful for just about anybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you have her on the line. She is always curt and cold. And as soon as you called her, it's as if she was expecting it, kind of thing. She just says, yes.
Well, given our previous conversations, Belle, I assume that you know why I'm calling.
Why now, Alex?
It's time to pay some old debts. Take care of a legacy of a friend who didn't deserve what he got.
And you need my help because?
Because you're you. Belle, come on. How many times have we had this conversation and done this dance?
A number of times.
You introduced yourself to me when you knew that I would be of service and of use to you, just like everybody else who introduces themselves to me. My job is to make all of you better. While nobody knows that I get any of the credit, and that's perfectly fine with me. I like staying in the background.
Dear,
This
I'm
time,
the best I've ever needed to be.
and I'm sure that's why you reached out to me the first time that you needed a little bit of help with something. You can present it however you want. I'm just asking for this one favor. It's personal this time. He was a friend. There are people who care about him. I don't think they deserve to die without figuring out what the hell's going on.
Ask your question. No games.
Well, it sounds like I'm going into the Downs. And I don't know if I have permission. I don't know if I'm going to survive tonight. My plan is to survive. I don't care who I take down with me, but I'm surviving, at least getting out long enough to be able to fix this, if I can.
And your survival is the favor you need?
Oh, no. I'll ensure that in other means. I need to know where to begin. I've never been there. I've never even heard of anybody who's survived coming out of there. It's completely shrouded in mystery, and for whatever reason, my ability to provide, insert myself into that scene has never worked. Maybe for good reason. But now my hand is being forced.
What are you looking for?
Apparently, we're going to go find Detective Artemis's brother.
Oh. The Marino family.
I'm aware of their reputation. I'm not stepped in with their father. I'm aware of the son's proclivities and the daughter's do-gooder status. But all of this is connected to Sam. You remember Sam.
I do remember Sam fondly.
And I want to honor that memory just as much as I imagine you do too.
And so you need a location?
I just need to know where to begin. Person, place, a thing. Hell, I'll even take a swim in the river if that's what it's going to take. And that thing is gross.
Well, if things don't go as planned, that won't be a choice.
I'm expecting that at the end of this. I'm just trying to survive long enough to get to the end of this. And to do that, I need to know where to begin. Otherwise, I'm going to ask the wrong question and I'm going to end up dead before I even get a chance to get to the next step.
There is an establishment that I am aware that he frequents. It is a nightclub. Not one that you would enjoy. The nightclub is called the Tartarus. It is loud. You will stick out like a sore thumb.
I got this.
Everyone will see you coming.
Everyone already knows I'm coming. Do you know how many phone calls I've made today? I've made it pretty obvious. I've made the choice.
Is it worth dying for, Alex?
I don't know. But I've done everything I can to protect my sister. And that involved being anonymous. Sam did a lot of good in this place for a lot of kids and a lot of people like me before I became me. The detective that's doing this with me, she seemed to believe in him too. Was his partner at one point, I guess. She might be the next Sam. she might be worth saving long enough to make sure that good can still happen.
Are you investigating the death, Alex? Or just trying to find the kid?
Oof.
Both. Are you asking me to make a choice?
I'm not. I was just making a query. Anonymity
All right,
only
Belle.
gets you so far, Alex. Best of luck.
Thanks, Belle.
And the line goes dead. You have a frame of reference, a nightclub called Tartarus. It is, as far as you could find out, given your questions, this is a grungy, like, I wouldn't even call it a hole in the wall. This is a nasty, dirty, like, punk rock bar, right? Like, think straight up, like, 1970s Sex Pistols, the nastiest, dirtiest place in the bottom of a warehouse. Everything is it's stickier than a stadium. It's just it's a weird time, and you will stick out like a sore thumb. Seeing art, you're not entirely sure what to look for when you enter this place, but art looks like she might fit in better than the suit and tie kind of situation you're working on right now. But even then, she might still stick out. But this car barrels towards a location. The two of you, are you sitting in relative silence in this town car?
I was gonna wait until you finished, but I was because Art knows her brother. At this point, she's gonna go. So what shithole bar are we going to? She's not gonna know which, but she assumes he's either in a drug den, he's in a shithole bar, or both, which is probably what this place is.
My suspicion is that he's going to end up at a place called the Tartarus.
She gives him a look like, that sounds
exactly like the kind of place that your brother would absolutely love.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but here's my suspicion. We're going to walk in there. We're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Somebody is going to say something to somebody else, and then they will come and find us. How we handle when they come and find us will determine what happens to us for the rest of this night, whether we survive or otherwise. If we are smart, we will not make any moves until we cannot otherwise ignore the situation. Let them come to us. Let us be the fresh fish that they're going to try to attack, take out, harass, ignore them. It's when we get to the middle management, that's when this really begins.
She nods. Yeah, she nods. She's calculating. She's thinking.
Detective, you are a better fighter than I am. I'm sure of this. My role is with words. Please follow my lead for as long as that's possible. When this becomes a fight, I'll back your play.
She messes up her hair a little bit. She nods. She takes the tie off. She unbuttons the shirt. She tries to make herself look even more shitty.
I have one question for you before we go inside.
Okay.
Do you have that little device that Judd made for you?
It's in my pocket. If they're conscious, I figured they've checked where we are. I didn't bother to text them.
I have no doubt they're already on their way here. I'm not worried about that right now. We have bigger fish to fry. When we meet whoever it is that we're going to meet, either pass it to me or do your best and get it on their person. Judd may be a little ambitious try and keep track of us. Let's see how far his ambition can go, and let's see if we can track them.
She nods in agreement, actually impressed with his thinking. Okay. I need a nickname. Can't keep calling me Art now, can you?
I leave that up to you. I travel under my own name here because everybody knows we're coming.
Sarah. She shakes her head and extends her hands.
All right, Sarah. Now let's go. And he opens the door and steps out of the car. Or sorry, they open the door and step out of the car. Keep getting it wrong.
The car comes to a halt. Friday opens the door, steps out. At this time, the camera sort of does a quick jump cut back to Judd and Molly as you guys are passing under the sign to enter the tunnel into the Downs. The two of you speed along the tunnel, driving like a pissed-off teenager, as Judd so eloquently put it, as you race through this tunnel for what you assume to be a bad news situation on the other side. When you emerge from the side of the tunnel, from the island side of the tunnel, you realize that your tracker has stopped. Not stopped working, just stopped moving. You have seen that Friday and Friday and Art have come to a rest. Whether that means they have stopped and are going to proceed further on foot, you're not sure, or whether they have been stopped, you're not sure. Either way, you sort of...
I'd like to like burn another question to get an idea of where they're stopped.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you mean like the general area, or like what like they're at?
Yeah, like where they are, like what's going on, why they stopped, type deal.
Actually, you know what? I will say this. You can burn that clue. You are able to hook this into your shitty car via, an old, like, the tape deck, right? Like, you take the 8mm jack and stick it into whatever, and then put the tape deck in.
Perfect.
I had one of those.
Yeah.
I feel like I loved it because it's supposed to be kind of like futuristic, but noir, right? I imagine he like plugs this in, and I'm going to take over, but like maybe like a little like hologram almost pops up.
Yeah.
A map that's going to kind of show.
Yeah, but it's still a tape deck because the car's shitty, and Judd's just augmented it, right?
It's like beautiful. But so like, I think as it pops up, I think Molly, because Molly has been here before. She doesn't love it, but there has been times when she was here. I think if it pops up and shows that, Molly's going to...
Would you have been to the Tartarus? I will say
I don't think she's been there, but maybe.
I think like, so once you get this hollow map kind of thing, and you can kind of see like a vague outline of the buildings, I will also say, Judd, with burning that clue, you can hear that last bit of conversation. That says, because like you turn it on, like once you exit the tunnel, and you hear that let's see how ambitious Judd really is kind of conversation, just the very tail end of it. Not sure what you're ambitious about, just Friday's voice saying let's see how ambitious Judd really is.
And you'd hear my nickname,
you can call me Sarah. And then you see that it's not in like some seedy alleyway. They're parked on the street. And they seem to be parked there. And you see that there's like several businesses around, whether you know what they are or not. Molly, you recognize the vague location of the Tartarus, and you know that it is a grimy nightclub. That's about all you know.
I'll just be like, oh, well, that's not fucking ominous at all. Oh, excellent.
Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. We just... She's gonna look over at Judd, because we know it's kind of a CD, and just to, she's gonna look him up and down, and she's gonna reach over and like put her fingers right in his hair and starts like ruffling it up. You look a little. We gotta be careful when we go in here, and she's messing up his hair.
What are you fucking Jesus?
She's like leaning over. He's trying to drive, and she's like leaning over onto him, like trying to adjust things. I think he maybe has like a little hole starting in his jeans.
Sure.
And then she's gonna try and like rip the hole a little bit bigger to look a little different.
These are my good jeans.
I'll buy you new jeans, Judd. Come on, you look like a paper boy. Come on.
You look like a paper boy.
That's so good.
It's amazing.
The camera kind of pulls out of the windshield of the car, and you can see. So as Molly is sort of roughing up Judd in the car, and Judd is trying to keep her at bay while also driving the car, the camera kind of pulls away, and the audience sees that the similar scene that Friday and Art saw, of the people standing on the streets, there's far more eyes watching the Juddmobile drive through the downs. Several of them exchange glances. Several people pull out cell phones. There are conversations that turn away from the street. And you notice that people... so the audience notices that people are noticing this car. And there is movement to follow. Several people start walking along the same road the car is speeding down. And the camera sort of pulls past this this Warriors-esque scene as it returns back to Friday and Sarah, who are now walking up to the Tartarus, which you are immediately confused based on what you were explained this place would be. That first of all, there is a bouncer. Where you are and what this place is, there's no reason to have that. There is a massive brass door on this, an ornate brass door. There's a central handle in the middle of it, and there is a large man by any standards. He is 6'2", probably weighs a good 350 of muscle, it looks like. This man stands there looming in front of the door, arms crossed. And he looks down at Friday, who I assume asserts himself and steps up first, and peers down out of his single eye, the other one covered by an eye patch, and says, "What are you doing here?" And
hold on a second.
Is where we end the episode.
What?
Wait, what?
6'2"?
Yeah.
Friday is not shorter than 6'2".
That's fine.
Jeez.
How tall is Friday? I don't know. I'm a tiny boy. I don't know how heights work. He's 6'8". Fuck. He's built like a linebacker, all right? So
Jerk.
He's fucking... It's Gronkowski.
I think Gronkowski is like 6'5".
Yeah,
so
there you go.
6'5", 6'6"
So
is probably a good height.
6'5".
All right.
And that is where we end the episode. So let's go around. We'll do our introductions, and then we'll do our Patreon after show with whoever can make it tonight. So let's start with we'll start with Molly. Kitty, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I'm Awkward Kitty Inc., the lovely voice of Molly. I love this show so much. It's been so great. But you can find me all over the internet as Awkward Kitty Inc. I'm a freelance artist, and I love to role play, and I'm about to get into some Red Dead RP. I'm very excited for semester. I love telling me a good story out in the South.
Hell yeah.
So come by and check it out. Do all the things. Do all the stuff. And subscribe here. Use your Twitch Prime on mic. Do it.
You should. Speaking of some RP and some games, let's jump over to... Wow, my brain just shut off. That's what 4 hours of sleep does for you. Wow. Let's jump over to Cherry. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you doing?
I'm Cherry Babam here on Twitch, CherryBabam7 on Twitter. Tomorrow I'll be doing some tarot. Maybe we'll do some roleplay, but we're gonna do some card slinging, do some chit chatting, those sort of things. So come on by. And we'll be in some other storytelling stuff this week, but definitely slinging some cards around. So come on by.
Hell yeah. Speaking of storytelling, Video Store Cowboy, Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
Video Store Cowboy everywhere. I am up to a second episode of our Tales from the Loop sort of West Marches thing is going on tomorrow night. That's going to be quite interesting since the first group of players discovered that there is something crazy going on with the timeline and with the parallel universes. So come join us tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's about it for me for this week.
Sweet.
I think.
Awesome. With that, we'll jump over to Sam. Last but not least, Sam, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I am Sam, twitch.tv/WisnFool, Twitter @TheWisnFool. I am here on Wednesdays, and on Sundays I play Battletech game mashed up with Pendragon theme, playing basically like the opposite character, much closer to like Art's brother than to Judd. So very, very different asshole noble. We're having a lot of fun with that. And that's on Sundays on AP Gaming's YouTube channel or on his Patreon. And otherwise, I'm here.
Hell yeah. Fantastic. That is it from us. Thank you guys so much for all of the sub love, all of the donations, all the bits, and for all those tips for that corruption bar. That being said, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go film our Patreon after show. So if you guys want to see that, subscribe to Patreon or subscribe here on Twitch. Links for all that stuff down below, and join us in our Discord and talk about this crazy game and what you guys think is gonna happen next week. I bet it's gonna be bad. So
yes.
from all of us to you guys, we will
bad's
see
gonna
you
happen
next week. Bye-bye.